Iceland, at the edge of the Arctic Circle. Beautiful, isolated, and home to a rare relationship between man and bird. This is the story of the eider duck.
Þetta hefur alltaf heillað mig mikið, þetta líf í kringum þennan fugl. Auðvitað er þetta villt dýr, en samt er maður með þetta bara svona eiginlega eins og húsdýr.
Þetta er afskaplega skemmtileg búgrein og þú hlúir að fuglinu. Og þetta er í rauninni þakklætisvottur sem það skilur eftir, það er dúnninn í hreiðrinu.
Þetta er magnað með þessa fugla, æðarfuglinn, hvað hann er mannsækinn. Þannig sækir hann verndina sem hann telur mannin gefa sér alveg heim í bæjardyr.
In Europe's far north, where the Atlantic meets the Arctic Ocean, humans and wild birds have developed a unique form of cooperation. Iceland lies in the middle of the North Atlantic, almost 1,000 kilometers from the European mainland. The warm waters of the Atlantic Gulf Stream surround the country, making winters relatively mild despite its far northerly latitude. The fertile seas are rich in fish, marine mammals, and seabirds. Formed by glaciers and active volcanoes over millions of years, the island is an epicenter of volcanic activity. The mid-Atlantic ridge cuts right through the center of the country. Millions of seabirds inhabit the coastline and the jagged Icelandic cliffs from spring to autumn. This is a prime habitat for North Atlantic seabirds and some duck species. The common eider duck spends most of its life at sea, living in large flocks. Unlike other species of duck, it rarely ventures onto inland lakes and ponds. It is the most common duck species by the shoreline of Iceland. The male has a distinctive black and white plumage, while the female has brownish feathers, which offer her camouflage during nesting season. For many Icelanders, the distinctive sound of the eider duck is a sure sign spring is approaching. The common eider is endemic to the North Atlantic. There are around 1 million in Iceland, a third of the total European population. Here, the wild bird has developed a unique relationship with man. For over a millennium, the human inhabitants of Iceland have been protecting these eider ducks during their nesting season. The birds nest mostly in the west and north of Iceland, but they can be found almost everywhere along the shores of the country. The eider duck make their nests on the open ground, often on small islands and peninsulas which offer some protection. Overwhelmingly, they choose to nest near humans. These nesting grounds can be found on farms, near rural homes and in the capital city of Reykjavik, even next to the presidential residence. The eider duck sometimes chooses the most unlikely places imaginable.
Taxi 160, Fethered, good morning. It's 60 degrees and 7 knots. The temperature is +9. Qnet is 1004 hectopascal, and it's 08 for use. There is no traffic on the airport and no birds on the runway.
Remarkably, the engine noise and the overhead flights of this big steel bird don't seem to bother the eider duck at all. The ducks are safe here, with the airport employees keeping a watchful eye over them and their nests. It seems that both parties have agreed to respect each other's safety. Cooperation between humans and wild ducks has not been observed on this scale in any other habitat. Iceland has a unique culture in this respect. For hundreds of years, eider ducks have nested near humans and left behind a precious natural resource when they leave: their eider down. The people who watch out for the ducks are known as eider duck farmers. They each have their own methods of protecting the nesting grounds and ensuring the ducks return generation after generation. It's winter, and daylight is a precious commodity. The sun creeps over the horizon for just 4 hours a day. The ducks stay out on the seas around Iceland in large colonies. Adults pair off early in the winter in preparation for the nesting season in May. For the next few months, the birds will mine the rich seabed to find food such as mussels and sea urchin, accumulating the fatty reserves they'll need during the nesting season. And it's during the cold winter months that the human inhabitants prepare for the spring too. The northernmost coast of Iceland. This is the edge of the habitable world. Driftwood from Siberia comes ashore here, dragged by the strong ocean currents. The cold weather isn't the only hazard here. There is also the occasional polar bear sighting. Vignir Alsvensson, a sheep farmer, collects the wood. There are few trees on Iceland, so driftwood is an important source of fuel, and it can be used as a raw material for construction. It's now the beginning of May, and there is near constant daylight. Vignir's farm is busy, as it's the height of the lambing season. But he's got his eye on the horizon. He's expecting the arrival of 2,000 eider ducks. The birds will build nests and lay their eggs on a small island he owns, close to his farm. Each spring, Vignir prepares the nesting ground for the eider ducks with his family and neighbours. He wants to make sure that everything is ready for the arrival of the birds. And he does it in his own unique way. Using the driftwood, Vignir has built about 2,000 miniature houses. Each one is placed on the island to form a Nordic village just for the birds. It's one house per nesting female. Vignir has done this for years here on his island. It's just one of the many methods the eider duck farmers of Iceland have developed. The houses provide shelter against the rain and the strong winds of the North Atlantic. It protects the birds and, crucially, also protects their precious down. Vignir puts hay into each house to attract the ducks to start laying here. The ducks return each spring to see Vignir and his family preparing the nesting ground. They recognise humans are not a threat and seem to see them as a sign it's safe to come ashore. Vignir's ancestors have looked after the eider ducks here on this island for generations. Cooperation between the wild birds and the human inhabitants has long been part of Iceland's history. Seafaring Vikings were the first settlers here in the second half of the 9th century. The early Icelanders chronicled their own history in detail. The first reference to eiderdown is found in the 13th century Sæmundaréttar manuscript. It states simply, "He sits on wealth if he sleeps in eiderdown." Eiderdown quilts were given as gifts to royalty across Europe in the Middle Ages. By weight, it was as valuable as gold. Even today, it is a luxury product. The limited supply ensures a high price. For centuries in Iceland, land that included eider duck nesting sites was considered the most valuable. The annual eiderdown bounty is still factored into land valuations today. Reynir Bergsvensson has been a farmer in the West Fjords of Iceland for the best part of his life. Every spring and summer, he looks after his eider ducks on his island in the middle of one of the West Fjords. A few years ago, a new bridge was built crossing the fjord on this island. It has opened up the island to one of the duck's main predators, the Arctic fox. Foxes and minks can easily destroy a whole nesting ground in minutes. Reynir has had to find new ways of protecting his ducks from hungry land predators.
Meðan að eyjan var eyja, þá var lítið sem þurfti að fást við hérna nema reglubundið 1 eða 2 minkar á hverju vori og svo var það búið, það var friður á varpinu eftir það.
The pressure on the duck colony from Arctic fox and mink has increased dramatically since the new road arrived. In order to protect his island, Reynir has built a small hut so that he can keep a watchful eye on his ducks around the clock. Reynir, like many Icelandic farmers, has spent his life trying to control the populations of these two predators, due to the risks they pose to both other wildlife and to livestock. Every morning he carefully scans the area for mink or fox, as they are the main threat to the nesting grounds at this time of year. The Arctic fox is the only land mammal that predates humans in Iceland. While minks were introduced in the last century for fur farming, though they have since run wild. They are both found across the island. Reynir has built this 5-metre-high watchtower with his own hands in order to protect his eider ducks and keep the enemy away. Yesterday, Reynir spotted an Arctic fox on the mainland, close to the bridge. He's employing a few unusual methods to try to deter the predators.
Christian Dior. Flott skal það vera.
The powerful scent from the perfume seems to confuse the Arctic fox. For the time being, at least. All of the eider duck farmers found in Iceland have some method of keeping predators at bay. Music is a popular one. The birds seem to like it, or at least tolerate it, while amazingly it frightens away foxes and mink. Possibly as they associate the sound with humans.
Ég myndi segja að það væri að sjálfsögðu íslenska tónlistin sem hrífur best. Það Björk.
Iceland is the only country in the world where the common eider duck is legally protected. The first steps towards conservation of the species can be found in 1787. The valuable eiderdown has ensured successive generations of Icelanders have had an interest in protecting the bird. It's May. The black and white male birds are showing off to their female partners. It looks like courtship, but these birds paired off back in the winter months. They are now preparing to nest. The ducks appear to choose their nesting sites based on where they were born and where they have nested before. Above all, they're looking for safety. And in Iceland, that means being near humans. Icelandic eider duck pairs are unusual. The males remain close to their female partners throughout the nesting season, something that is rarely seen in other colonies.
Það segja sumir að æðarfuglinn sé glysgjarn og þess vegna þetta nú sennilega í öllum regnbogans litum. Og maður verður aðeins var við að hann sækir að þessu. En ég held að sé að hann finni í því ofurlitla vörn, sérstaklega gagnvart hrafninum og tófan hræðist þetta dálítið.
The largest eider duck colonies can be found in the west of Iceland, particularly on the small islands which mink and fox cannot easily reach. Vígur is an island in the west fjords of Iceland and has one of the largest concentrations of duck colonies in the country. Here, in this secluded paradise for birds, a 200-year-old rock wall still stands. It was built to combat sea erosion, but was specially designed to allow the ducks to nest, it is a testament to the locals' deep-rooted respect for the eider duck.
Fyrstu menjar að eitthvað hafi verið gert fyrir æðarfugl hér síðan 1800. Þá voru hlaðin hérna mikill garður sem var vísvitandi gert fyrir æðarfugl. Mín fjölskylda kemur hérna 1880 og þá hófst svona markviss uppbygging og aðhlynning að æðarvarpi.
Salva Baldursson was born on this island, and he, along with his family, are the only inhabitants at Vígur. They look after some 3,000 eider duck nests, just like their ancestors have done for centuries. During the summer, the island attracts a number of tourists because of the colourful bird life.
Það væri mjög erfitt að ímynda sér það að vera hér vor og heyri ekki æðarfugli. Það væri í rauninni algjör skandall í rauninni. Ég held að það væri mjög skrítið að upplifa það. Þessi hljóð og þessi, maður finnur vorið að koma jafnvel þó að sé vont veður. Þá heyrir maður í æðarfuglinum í apríl og svo þegar hann byrjar náttúrulega að labba og kíkja á mann, það er alveg yndislegu tími.
The island is a home to many species of birds during the nesting season. The black guillemot, known for its high-pitched calls, lays its eggs here along the coastline. Close by, tens of thousands of puffins have settled in their peculiar nests. This seabird, with its distinctive colourful beak, digs holes into the soil along the top of the cliff edge. Puffins are the only seabird that lay just a single egg each season. There are 40,000 egg-laying puffins here. Their numbers have increased over the past decade, and this has started to cause problems for the eider ducks.
Ástæðan fyrir því að æðarfuglinn vill ekki vera í kringum lundan það að það náttúrulega hreiðurstæðin eru ómöguleg. Eggin detta bara, þú kannski býr til hreiðurbolla og þá ert að rjúfa þak í þekjuna hjá lundanum og eggin detta niður í holu. Það er mjög vont fyrir æðarfuglinn að koma ungum ósködduðum út af svæðunum, eða bara koma þeim út af svæðunum. Þeir fara mikið í holurnar og það eins og hérna þá fer alltaf töluvert af ungum í lundahólur. Maður veit það alveg, maður finnur oft hólur og jafnvel tínur upp 10-20 unga, stundum lifandi og stundum dauða.
The eider ducks usually return to the same nesting grounds year after year. It seems to help if the environment is safe and colourful. It provides security against predators of different kinds. It's time for the first eiderdown collection of the season. Salvar has done this since his childhood, showing the younger generation how it is done in order to maintain the tradition.
Við náttúrulega tínum dúnunni náttúrulega á þessum tíma á varptímanum og þá förum við svona 3 ferðir yfir eyjun með svona viku 10 daga millibili til að tína dún.
The Arctic tern is here in its thousands and nests in the same space as the eider ducks. It has flown all the way from Antarctica to breed here. The tern plays an important role in protection of the area as it flies up and emits a warning sound as soon as it detects danger. It defends the nesting ground vigorously from any perceived threat. People often have to ward off its attacks with a stick. During the nesting season, hormonal changes in the female eider duck make the down on its chest loosen naturally and fall off.
Æðarfuglinn er náttúrulega hánorræn fuglategund og fuglar sem lifa mjög norðarlega. Þeir þurfa að aðlaga sig að mjög köldum svæðum.
In Iceland, research on the behaviour and ecology of eider ducks has been conducted for decades, including research on the characteristics of eiderdown.
Það þannig að í eðli sínu þá skiptum við fjöðrum fuglana upp í eins konar bolfjaðrir sem eru þá svona ytri grind, en síðan eru dúnfjaðrirnar einangrun. Og hjá æðarfuglinum þá sem sagt dúnninn, hann undir bolfjöðrunum, og þegar þessi fugl þarf að verpa á svona köldum svæðum, þá náttúrulega vill hann losna við einangrunina á milli sín og eggjana. Og dúnninn fellur þá af kviði fuglsins og umlykur eggin í hreiðrinu, og það verður nánari snerting á líkamshita fuglsins við eggin. Þannig að þarna býr fuglinn til eins konar kerfi þar sem hann að halda hita á eggjunum og án þess að missa og miklu orku yfir álegutíma.
Eider down has unique qualities and is hard to beat when it comes to natural insulation and lightness.
Hérna erum við með dúnfjöður úr æðarfugli, og ef við skoðum myndina þá sjáum við að endarnir eru alveg hárfínir og mynda svona eins og hálfgerða króka, og þetta mjög mikilvægt til þess að dúnfjaðrirnar, stakarfjaðrir, að þær ná að tengjast saman sín á milli. Því að til þess að halda einangrunargildi dúnsins þá þarf að myndast rúmmál með loftrými á milli. Það raun og veru það sem heldur einangrunni.
Humans have been collecting the eider down during the nesting season for centuries, with no apparent adverse effects on the ducks. Recent scientific research supports this practice. Excess down is usually lost to the rain or wind anyway, so the collections don't do any harm. Every spring, Fethered takes a break from his usual daily routines in the capital city and travels with his family to the island of Fethered in Breiðafjörður Bay to attend to their eider ducks. Fethered's family is one of 3 families who come to the area for a month every spring to tend to the ducks and collect the down. Anticipation and excitement are in the air as it's nearly time for the eggs to hatch. The family tends to a nesting ground spread across a number of small islands and islets, so they need to use inflatable boats to travel between them.
Þessar eyjar sem hér eru 267 eyjar sem fuglar verpa í. Æðarfugl verpir í 137 eyjana. Svo aðferð sem við notum hér út af fjölda eyjana, þá tökum við allan dún og sláum hér tún og setjum hey undir í staðinn. Það var gerður samanburður á hita þar sem að dún var látin vera í hreiðri og aftur þar sem við settum hey. Og það var engin merkjalegur munur á milli hitastigs í hreiðri, það sem að menn hafa svona kannski sett út á, kannski helst fólk erlendis, að sé verið að taka dúni frá fuglinum áður en að hann búinn að leiða út. En við erum svona, höldum að við séum ekki að gera neitt skaða fyrir æðarfugli með því að skipta alveg, að taka alveg dúnin í burtu. Og maður sér það best í rigningatíð að dúnnin nánast hættur að gegna hlutverki sínu, hann blotnar svo og verður bara svona eins og mykjuskán í botninum, og þær eru búin að reyta hey ofan á dúnin og liggja á heyinu, eða grasinu sem að reyta í kringu sig.
Þetta búið að rigna svo rosalega núna í vor að annað eins hefur aldrei sérst. Það er konið 60 millimetrar núna seinni hlutan í maí. Á þessu slóðum sem að hafa í 40 ár verið úrkomulaus. Nánast. Svona, hún fær ofurlítið endurbætt sængurföt. Voða. Þetta er flott hjá ykkur. Já, voða. Rosalega gaman hvað þú ert dugleg að passa eggið þín. Þetta sannarlega flott hjá þér, greyið mitt. Agalega þetta flott hjá þér. Voða gott, já. Þegar maður sinnir varpinu, þá maður rólega og blaðrar einhverja vitleysu sem að má alveg eins vera stríðsfréttir úr Ameríku eða hvað eina, bara maður segir eitthvað við það. Má ég sjá hjá þér greyið mitt? Komdu, já, komdu, þetta allt í lagi. Svona. Alibaba.
Dangers lurk everywhere. The king of the skies, the white-tailed eagle, hovers overhead. It could destroy this colony within minutes. Gulls and ravens will also eat the eggs, and even the live chicks when they hatch. The threats from above are as constant as that from the Arctic fox and the mink on the ground. The Arctic fox population has seen a sharp increase since the 1970s, peaking in the last few years. This predator is unrivaled here. It is thought to have arrived in Iceland towards the end of the last ice age, walking here across frozen seas. Reynir has become aware of a fox near his colony. The fox is clever and quick to learn. It is no longer put off by the fragrance of the perfume. A half-eaten egg indicates the fox has found its way in. The ducks have already fled to the fjord. A fox or mink attack could be disastrous, as they can destroy so many eggs in one go. Now it is crucial that Reynir finds the culprit.
Já, sko, það spurði einhver hvernig mér myndi nú lítast á blikuna ef það tæki á móti mér 5.000 minkar í himnaríki. Já, ég gaf nú lítið út á það. En ég sagði að þó það tæki á móti mér þessar 1000 tófur sem ég hefði drepið, að ég kvitti því ekki. Ég hef reynt að líta á tófuna sem jafningja. Ég aðallega að hlúa fuglinum og vernda hann að hann geti sem að sér átt öruggt varpsvæði hérna. Gengur svona. Maður nær vissu tilfinningasambandi við fuglinn. Þeir koma heim að kofadýrum hjá mér af því þeir treysta mér.
Reynir understands the ducks and the foxes. He has been dealing with them both for 60 years. He has even learnt to understand the fox's calls and knows its behaviour.
Á vetrartímanum kallast þau á, sérstaklega í tilhugalífinu, refurinn og læðan. Og refurinn kallar og læðan svarar og þegar þeir eru búin að ná talsambandi, það getur tekið látinn tíma, það kannski kílómetrar á milli og tveir og þá gagga þau oft á leiðinni, en svo eftir þeir eru búin að ná saman þá heyrist lítið í þeim. Og eins á vorin, þegar hún lögst í greni, þá kemur refurinn á hjallan fyrir ofan og kallar hvort hún ætla að koma með sér á næturröltið og þá kallar hann oft með hljóði sem getur varla haft eftir. Það stutt og snöggt og næstum eins og sé verið að skella saman fjölum. Og eftir að þau eru farin af stað þá gagga þau aldrei, þá eru bæði á veiðum en þau vita hvort af öðru. Og þegar þau komum mat til yrlingana þá nota þau degulhljóð svo kallað og ef yrlingarnir eru stálpaðir þá koma þeir út á móti þeim. Og svo aðvörunarhljóð, aðvörunaröskur sem tóan notar oftast nær þegar hún verður vör við hættu á greni. Fleiri hljóð eru nú til en ég næði þeim svo illa að það tekur ekki að hafa þau eftir.
Summer has finally arrived here on Iceland's northern coast. The residents at Hafnir enjoy a little time out before heading to their eider duck colony. At the beginning of June, the colony can be seen in its full glory. A duck nests in each of the miniature houses. The family's favourite time of the year has finally come. It is time to collect the eider down. The island with its miniature houses may look safe and serene. But even here, the creeping impact of climate change can be felt.
Það búið að minnka varplandi því að sjórinn gengur á landi. Það hækkandi sjávarstaða og eins þessi brim, þessi miklu brim sem gerir, sem að hafa ekki verið svona, það alveg greinilegt. Og það sem kannski líka það að það hefur verið frekar milt núna, þannig að jörðin ófrosin þegar það gerir briminn og það gengur hraðar á landið.
The nesting season is about to reach its next stage. The chicks are going to hatch. Eider ducks lay between 3 and 8 eggs, with around 90% hatching successfully. Vignir candles the eggs. This involves holding them up to a bright light to check the development of the chick inside. Here he can use the bright summer sunlight.
Þetta hefur alltaf heillað mig mikið, þetta umhverfi og þetta líf í kringum þennan fugl og svoleiðis sko. Bara svona fá að vera svona út í náttúrunni og með þessum dýrum svona. Auðvitað þetta villt dýr en samt maður með þetta bara svona eiginlega eins og húsdýr sko.
In Vigur, the eiderdown collection is in full swing. The valuable eiderdown is brought back home for cleaning. The methods used today have changed little in the past millennium. It is dried, and then hay, kelp and other impurities are removed. Eiderdown is prized for its insulating properties and used to stuff coats, quilts and pillows. It is a limited resource. Iceland produces around 3 tons per year, or 80% of the world's total supply. 60 nests are needed to produce just a kilogram of refined eiderdown.
Það bara 2-3 mánaða vinna að hreinsa dúnið sem kemur úr eyjunni. Þetta afskaplega skemmtileg búgrein og þetta mjög skemmtilegt samspil manns og náttúru og ákaflega friðsamlegt og skemmtilegt. En þú hættir samt ekkert að hlynna æðavarpinu þó að verðið falli 1 eða 2 ár. Þetta svoleiðis gengur ekki fyrir sig því að æðarfuglinn hann fylgist ekkert með verðsveiflunum, hann fylgist bara með hvað maðurinn að gera fyrir hann og hvar honum finnst gott að vera og hvar hann öruggur.
Eider ducks can find a safe nesting place almost anywhere close to humans. The Snæfellsjökull glacier and volcano in western Iceland. It was here that Jules Verne's novel Journey to the Centre of the Earth began. And the area was also the site of a real-life experiment 40 years ago. A local master carpenter, Smári Lovíksson, decided to create an artificial island in the pond outside his house. He used stones and seaweed which he towed out across the frozen surface of the pond during the winter. A year later, he found a bird's nest on the island.
Þetta var nú bara svona í upphafi að gera tilraun, veitu hvort það væri hægt að koma sér upp varpi. Svo náttúrulega þegar það tókst að fá fyrstu kolluna í þetta litla skera þá var bara haldið áfram.
Now, 40 years later, there are 300 eider ducks nesting here. Smári has documented the birds' nesting sites since he began this experiment. In 1993, he began marking the birds so he could identify returning birds and new arrivals. This provides a valuable resource for researchers studying the common eider duck. Recently, Smári teamed up with ornithologist Jon Einar Jónsson to continue the project. Marking provides invaluable scientific information on the state of a bird colony. Each bird is marked with a number and is monitored annually. The red marking indicates that the bird has already been registered this summer. Smári's marked birds have not been found in other colonies in Iceland. It supports the long-held belief that most eider ducks select the same nesting grounds year after year. A bird Smári marked back in 1993 can still be found here and is one of the oldest marked ducks in the world.
Það vel þekkt meðal æðarfugla. Í þéttum æðarvörpum þá ruglið saman reytum með hreiður og unga og það mikið pælt í því hvort að þetta séu skyldir fuglar sem blandi saman ungahópum og noti saman hreiður. Það séu skildar kollur sem verpi hlið við hlið í varpinu. Það kom alltaf í sama varpið. Það velja venjulega sama blettin í varpinu og svona kannski 5. hver, 7. hver sem alltaf hörð á sama hreiðurinn sömu skáli. Það er alveg klárt mál ef að þær koma upp ungum ár eftir ár, þá skipta þær ekkert hreiðurstæði. Þær halda sig við það sem virkar.
After nearly a month of keeping the eggs warm, it is time for the chicks to hatch. The female eider duck has not left the nest and not eaten for the 4 weeks it takes for the eggs to hatch. It relies on the fat reserves it built up during the winter, losing almost 25% of its total weight during the nesting season. Caring for up to 8 eggs takes its toll. Before they are even a day old, the chicks leave the nest. The only safety for these little ducks is the sea, where they can hide amongst the larger colony and find sustenance. Here on land, there is only starvation and the threat of predators. The mother leads her hatchlings along the shortest route to the sea. The eider ducks regularly display what is called alloparenting. That is looking after offspring other than their own. Females will care for chicks that have become orphaned or separated from their parents. Predators are never far away, and the chicks will be easy prey. They need to learn to swim and dive for food. The adults watch over them, but independence is the key to survival. Summers are short this far north. The chicks don't have long to grow big before the harsh winter weather arrives. As soon as they are old enough, the chicks fly away from their families. In Fethered Island in Fethered Bay, some of the chicks are cared for in a rather unusual way. Here, lost chicks have been taken into foster care. It is the role of the children to nurture them. The chicks see the human children as their parents. These little ones have been rescued from abandoned nests or found after being separated from their colony. The children have looked after these young chicks from shortly after they hatched. Most birds return to their original nesting grounds each year. This is a chance for their adoptive parents to introduce birds to new nesting grounds. Hand rearing like this can help create new colonies, expand existing ones, and ensure the ducks learn to use new and potentially safer nesting sites. The children make sure that the chicks enter the sea twice daily. It is important at this point in their lives that the chicks' instincts are developed in order for them to become self-sufficient and independent in the wild. They will be able to fly within 2 months and should then head further out to sea. Children have a great time with the little birds, and they have already learned how to handle their wild friends. They will be the next generation to look after the eider ducks' nesting grounds, as their ancestors have done for centuries. This old and special friendship between humans and wild animals continues for another year, here on the edge of the Arctic Circle.
Eins og ég hef nefnt að þá ber maður vissa ábyrgð á þessari náttúru og viðfangsefnið afar skemmtilegt, óneitanlega, og maður á nú ekkert fyrir höndum annað en ellina og komin inn í hana, en maður eldist öðruvísi í kringum þessa náttúru, þessa fugla og dýr.
As the years come and go, one thing seems certain. The people of Iceland will continue to protect their feathered friends. And one of Europe's oldest traditions is safe for the time being.